10 seconds, 5 seconds, start. The women of India should have as much share in winning Swaraj as men. Probably in this peaceful struggle, women can outdistance men by many a mile. Now that the government has dragged the women into the line of fire, I hope that women all over India will take up the challenge and organize themselves. It was in words such as these that Mahatma Gandhi appealed to the women of India to enter the struggle for India's freedom. If non-violence is the law of our being, the future is with women. Who can make a more effective appeal to the heart than women? God has vowed to save to women the power of non-violence more than to man. If the women of India rose, he said no one could stop the country's march to freedom. It was with the coming of Gandhiji on the political scene in India that women started playing a significant role in the freedom struggle. Women joined the freedom struggle because, like men, they are inspired by patriotism and wanted to see the end of foreign rule. Hansa Mehta recalls that she joined the civil disobedience movement in 1930 because the atmosphere in those days was such that one could hardly escape the infection. Usha Mehta remembered that patriotic songs and slogans she heard from the street and how they inspired her. In Yerbada jail, she asked her fellow prisoners why they had joined the freedom movement, and most of them replied that they had done so out of genuine conviction and patriotic feelings. Women's participation in such large numbers in Gandhi's march movements was a kind of social revolution which made a breakthrough in their lives. Participation of women gave legitimacy to the Indian freedom movement and its claim that it represented all sections of Indian society. Satyagraha was a technique to wrest moral authority from the Raj and return it to its subjects by non-violent means. This method had a special appeal for women. British officials acknowledged that there was no doubt that, but for women's participation, the movement would never have gained the force it did, and it was due to them that it evoked sympathy among so many scholars, administrators, and politicians both in India and abroad. The participation of women in the freedom movement enforced the movement for women's rights. As Sarla Devi Chaudhrani asked, how can we attain rights? And answered by the strength of our agitation. We must force men flock to concede to our demands and at the same time carry on propaganda among ourselves. Women made a tremendous impression by their participation in the non-cooperation and civil disobedience movements, and after this all moves to give social and political rights to them made a reference to women's role in the freedom struggle. If Gandhiji's drew women out of the four walls of their house to take part in the national movement, it was Jawaharlal Nehru who recognized the need to formally grant equal rights to women as embodied in the Resolution on Fundamental Rights passed at the Karachi Congress in 1931. Gandhiji, in his letters and speeches to women, repeatedly emphasized that women were not weak. Addressing a meeting in Bombay in 1920, Gandhiji said, I therefore want the women of India not to believe themselves weak. It is ignorance to call women weak. Woman who has the mother of mighty heroes like Hanuman, and he wrote in Young India in 1930 to call women the weaker sex is a libel. It is man's injustice to woman. If by strength is meant brute strength, then indeed woman is less brute than man. If by strength is meant moral power, then woman is immeasurably man's superior. Has she not greater intuition? Is she not more self sacrificing? Has she not greater powers of endurance? Has she not greater courage? Without her, man could not be. If non-violence is the law of our being, the future is with women. After the men were arrested, it was left to the women to conduct the campaign, and they showed remarkable organizational skill in doing this. Many who participated continued to be active in politics after independence. Some devoted themselves to Gandhian constructive work, while others went back to their homes, but the experience could not but have had an impact on their lives. The focus of women in Satyagraha is on women in the Gandhian mass movements.